Welcome, everybody, to another season of Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. I'm your host, CJ, and with me, as always, Sam Marcus, athletic director and head football coach, John Walsh, on what should have been Meet the Rattler. We are actually live at the Toyota San Marcos Rattler Stadium press box. And, Coach, weather did us in. The video continues. Rattler Up continues. Meet the Rattler, unfortunately, did not. But, hey, season 2 of Rattler Up, we must be doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. The lightning was coming. We couldn't get rid of that. The rain didn't hit, but we had to make a call, and I hate canceling anything like that, but we had to. But it's good. It's a great time of the year, and I'm glad we're starting this back up.
Absolutely, and I think it'll be great to without Meet the Rattler. That just makes us all the more anticipatory for Friday night.
Absolutely.
When we get Hutto in town. And we're going to talk about that and a lot more this week on Rattler Up. We're back for season 2, and this week we will look at the whole season. We'll go back and do a season preview for Rattler football. We'll also speak with the folks that make up Friday Night Lights, and that is not just the football players. You're going to meet players teams and individuals from a whole bunch of different groups that make the Friday Night Lights possible. And like we said, we'll talk specifically the Hutto Hippos, our opponent this Friday night here at Rattler Stadium. And so, Coach, again, Meet the Rattler was that type of event to highlight those programs. Talk to us a little bit about it. I think a lot of people may or may not understand the importance of all those programs that take place on Friday nights.
Yeah, I just think when you go to a high school football game, regardless if your football team is good or not, you can tell a lot about the school on how the representation of the school is at a Friday night, because there's so much involved. And we're going to talk about several programs that are here that actually have to practice things before they get to the game and prepare. But just from the fans to the student body to the administrators that come to it, from the board members, all that, and it just makes for a great experience. And it's by no means is it about the football team, but it's just the combination of all of them and just the school spirit that exudes itself.
Absolutely. I think I've shared this with you before. We had last year a teacher that was new here from California, the Texas football tradition not ingrained in her, and she was blown away by it, and it seemed to me like football was just one of the many things. She saw that, the community involvement, the packed stands. Talk to us about are there some things that maybe those of us born and raised in Texas, just take some of this for granted?
Oh, absolutely. I've been able to travel a lot because of the game of football and see a lot of high school football in other states, and there's not many. I would put Georgia up there with us, but beyond that, it's nothing compares.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to meet some of those people. I've seen estimates depending on the year, but I mean, they estimate anywhere from 400 to 600 kids have a hand in making a Friday Night Lights production. And so we can't be out there at Meet the Rattler. The weather was not going to cooperate with us. We're going to be on the Jumbotron, Coach. I was pretty excited about being on the Jumbotron.
I got it right now. I know it.
Your old hat. You're on the Jumbotron every Friday. That's a big night for me. I'm going to have to find a way for
We'll do it again.
We'll get me up there some way, somehow. Well, again, this week we're going to look at the 2022 season. We're going to be joined by those student representatives. We're going to talk Hippos football for this Friday night. And let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at the season ahead. So, Coach, we've got our schedule there up on the screen. 10 games, 5 district, 5 non-district, some repeats in there, some teams we've seen, some teams we're familiar with, some teams we definitely want to get a piece of based on what we know how it's gone the last couple of years. So let's take a look and break that down, Coach, starting with just the new district. So those that don't know back at home, UIL realigns the districts every 2 years. And unfortunately, San Marcos kind of gets rescheduled just about every 2 years. It's pretty rare that we stay in a district for the same amount of time. We pretty much put our 2 years in and move on to a new district. So we're making that adjustment. So I want to start there. What is it like for you to know, okay, brand new slate of opponents, brand new size even, right? A much smaller district than what we came for. So what does the change in district do for you as a football coach?
Well, the uniqueness is I've been doing this for 28 years. I've never been in a 16 district, which means you only got 5 district ball games. Normally you have 7, at least 7 games, or maybe 6. But that makes it the district race becomes quick and fast.
Right.
And our district is pretty good. We don't have a Westlake or a Lake Travis that's perennial powerhouse or state champion, but you got the Steels, the Judsons, New Braunfels is good. Shirts has won games, and then East Central won 3 rounds last year. So it's plenty potent. Each week's going to be. It's going to mean something for the playoffs, for your playoff contention.
Right. It's a fight every week,
Absolutely.
guaranteed. So now the flip side of that is by only having 5 scheduled games in the district competition, it allows for 5 non-district. And so what's the comparison to last year? How many did we have off
Three.
district? We had three.
Yeah.
So 5 games non-district, and so that's one thing we want to talk about there. That's got to be an advantage. I've got to believe, right? That's a huge advantage for you to see your team in 5 different games. Right. But are there some pitfalls involved in something like that as well?
Well, the injury bug is what you worry about. You want all your guys in the games that count. So, but it is what it is, and having 5 games, like I said, it'll be a first for me. We just got to pace it the right way, and just the location of some of the games. So when you mentioned UIL realigned us, we were a 6-team district, and the only 2 other 6-team districts were south. When I say south, I mean south. And then
as far south as you can go,
yes, all the way to Del Rio,
Texas football.
And then all the way to Midland, Odessa. So to find our 4th and 5th game, we had to go south, you know, and so that's why we have Laredo and Eagle Pass on there.
Right, so let's talk about that. We've got Madison and Eagle Pass at home, road games against Wagner and Laredo Alexander. Yep. So obviously some traveling to be done in there. Yeah. But so what kind of specific plans do you make for teams like that, or are you in a just general team improvement mode when you're in those pre-district games?
100% team improvement mode. I think the travel piece, we feel like we're in our 3rd year, our second 2 off seasons in. So we made the playoffs last year. You plan on winning playoff games and traveling. And when you travel in the playoffs, you got to travel. So we're going to use these long games that we travel to get us playoff travel ready.
Right.
And then just the other piece, I told our kids, even in the scrimmage the other night, I don't want to be the best version of ourselves right now. I don't want to be the best version in 3 weeks. But by Halloween, that gets us about 2 weeks from the playoffs. That's when I want to start peaking. So, just getting better as a program each week is where you want to be.
And so you mentioned that scrimmage, and we talked travel, so a little travel down to Jourdanton, Texas
I didn't think it was going to be, but it took forever to get there.
Right. You tried to negate the travel by not going all the way to Laredo. You had them meet us in Jourdanton, but you had that scrimmage against Laredo United South, and so first time to get to look at the team and against some other pads that weren't your same color. So what did you learn from the team against Laredo United South last week?
And they're a good team to scrimmage. Another team that went 3 rounds last year. So well coached, and when you play another well coached, disciplined team, you get good work, and we got good work. I was really pleased. I thought a year ago when I watched that scrimmage 2 weeks ago to get ready for our scrimmage, we gave the line of scrimmage up quite a bit on both sides, and we did not do that this year. So I'm really good. I felt good about our trenches. Offensively, we never got stopped unless we had some penalties and stopped ourselves. So that was a good sign, and the maturity on our offense showed. And defensively, we gave up some big plays. Coach Kleiber, he didn't game plan for a scrimmage. He's been game planning for Hutto, so he probably had him in some situations that we weren't playing against United South. But I love the energy. I love their effort. We're a lot better than we were last year at this point.
Well, that's exciting. And so, you talked about October, Halloween air time. Well, following that bye week at the end of September, that's when we get going with district. And that district season kicks off with back-to-back games against Clemens and Steele. Mm-hmm. We have a road game against Judson, and then that final home game against New Braunfels. And then we close on the road against East Central. So you mentioned some of those teams, but what are some of those? Tell us a little bit more about some of those teams those challenges that we face in this new district of ours.
So really, I don't know a whole lot. I'm just going to have to, going from field study, and just learning from guys, from even players that have been around here. So I'm from the north, so I just learned and we're able to build relationships in the Austin area. So now this is going to be kind of new to us, but I know that Steele, we have played them in the past, and I know what they're about, and they're probably the lead dog, I would say, in the district if I was given a preseason pick. And then I think after that it's going to be a dogfight. I think New Braunfels is good. The last 2 years, their last 2 freshman classes have been as good as anything Westlake or Lake Travis put out there as freshmen. So I think they're going to be they're not getting enough credit that they deserve.
Well, New Braunfels is interesting. You talk about them. You talk about East Central. You say, you're being from the Dallas area up north, you're building those relationships, you're learning those teams. Well, New Braunfels and East Central, you've got the chance to play against. Those are the 2 teams you're going to probably know the most about at this point. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And New Braunfels especially, we've had 2 just really great ball games against them outside of conference. So how interesting is that? We obviously aren't looking ahead, but as you preview the season, now we get our 3rd shot at New Braunfels, and this time it counts big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the Friday night experience. You're looking for rivals. You want to create rivalries, and New Braunfels is just too close not to have one. So it's hard to have them when they're in non-district because those games don't count. But when they do count, I think you'll start seeing the rivalry aspect play its way into New Braunfels. And I know Hayes and San Marcos has had it, but if they don't play you, you can't have a rivalry, right? So we get New Braunfels.
And we talked about that last season. It has always been tough for San Marcos to develop that because we get moved around.
Right.
We get something going with Hayes, then we get something going with Seguin. Seems to be New Braunfels now. Talk to us again. We talked about it last season, but for those that don't remember, why is that rivalry so important?
Well, it just built. I mean, it's competition creates excitement, and then when you can add a little bit of trying to look for the right word here online. I mean, since we're live, but you just want an edgy game. You want a game where people know each other. They go when they go to Slitterbahn. They're seeing y'all go to Slitterbahn, kids? No more? Y'all don't go to Slitterbahn still? Yeah. So if they go to Slitterbahn,
they go to Slitterbahn still.
You're bumping into them at the movie theater. So it just makes for good Friday nights.
Well, we're excited to see that. Now, you mentioned our offense and defense, and we know some of those returning players. We're going to see Isaiah De Leon here in a little bit. Who are some of those other returners that this is going to be huge for them because they've learned the system, they're about the system,
right,
and they're going to be the leaders on the field on both sides of the ball.
Obviously in our backfield, Isaiah's with Jaden Brown and Jake. I go by nicknames. Is it Jake Schultze? It's Schultze.
You call by the nickname on your
Schultze
show.
and JB are in the backfield with him. But you got Kevin Morales up front. You got Pactanac up front. And Waylon's been through the program. Tony Diaz is a returner. He's only a junior, but he got a lot of time early last year. So there's a lot of experience. They've been through the battles. And you saw it the other night in our maturity.
All right, and so then we know that but who on that varsity squad is maybe a fresh face to some of the Rattler fans? Who's a name that Rattler fans need to get to knowing right now?
Well, because we got so many back. That's a great question since we got so many back. Fresh face. There's not many fresh. We are in a point where they're all back. I mean, am I missing somebody, Isaiah? I mean, I think everybody played that's starting. Right guard, yeah. Martin Ruiz is a new one, yeah.
Okay.
And he was extremely nervous. Like we'll make fun of him right now because he's going to be a really good player for us. Big kid, but he had 3 dead ball penalties out of the first 4 plays the other night. So we went backwards 3 times out of 4. But he was really nervous, and then he finally settled down and played well.
All right, well, that's a good name to watch as the Rattler season develops. 2022 season coming up, 10 games, 5 out of district, 5 in district. It's going to be exciting. And we were going to be, like we said, folks, live from Meet the Rattler. We were excited about that. Meet the Rattler canceled for the weather, but Coach is here. We're doing Rattler Up, and we're excited about that. And so exciting times ahead, and we want to talk with some people that are directly involved with those exciting times. So coming up after the break, we're going to bring in some students from a variety of programs and talk to them about their participation and what they mean to the Friday Night Lights experience. So in this commercial break, we have a great partnership with VYPE. They provide us with this program, get us on their YouTube channel, and they've put together a terrific hype package for the San Marcos football season. So we're going to send it to that, and when we return, we'll have students from a variety of programs. Stay with us here on Rattler Up.
Rattler Nation, let's ride.
Welcome back to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. We are finally joined by the student representatives of a variety of groups. Again, we were supposed to be live from Meet the Rattler. We are in the press box at San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium, and we are still excited to have these guys brave the rain, brave the weather, and get on up here with us. And so let's get right to it. Again, this is our favorite part of hosting the show, Coach.
Absolutely.
When we get the students in here, there's only so much they want to hear us talk, right? It's great to have these kids here. Again, we talked earlier about any estimate from 400 to 600 kids, hundreds of kids involved in the Friday Night Lights experience, and we want to bring these reps in to talk to them a little bit about their experience. So, guys, we're going to let you get started. If you'll introduce yourselves to the audience at home watching live on YouTube on the VYPE channel, and tell us what your name is, what grade you're in, and what group you're representing.
I'm Isaiah De Leon. I'm a senior, and I play quarterback for the football team.
I'm Laisha. I'm a senior, and I'm a cheerleader on the San Marcos cheerleading team.
My name is Natalie Veach. I'm representing choir. I'm a senior. Yeah.
My name is Sophia White. I'm captain of the Diamond Line dance team, and I'm a senior.
My name is Hunter Booth. I'm a junior, and I'm representing our audio-video team.
All right, we'll slide the mic on back down. Looking great on camera, guys. Who else we got?
My name is Rowan Turley. I'm the band vice president and tuba section leader, and I'm a senior this year.
My name is Michaela Rodriguez. I'm a senior, and I'm the corps commander for AFJ ROTC.
All right. And why don't you hold on to the mic there? I think I'm going to start with you. So a lot of our programs, we know their involvement, obviously, the football team, right? And we hear the band, we see the cheerleaders, but there's some programs I think are a little more behind the scenes, and people don't really realize are being a part of that. So why don't you let us know, I know of two major ways ROTC represents on a Friday night football game. Talk to us about how the ROTC helps make the Friday Night Lights experience happen.
Well, we have three teams that contribute to the Friday Night Lights experience. We have Spirit Team, Color, the Honor Guard, and then Parking Detail. The Honor Guard is basically the 4 cadets that march onto the field and represent the American and Texas flags. And it's kind of scary to be out there in front of 3,000 people.
So you've done that one. Have you done all
Yes.
3 teams at some point in your career?
I've done every single team we offer. I was a commander for the Honor Guard. I've been in Honor Guard. And then we also have Spirit Team, which is where we have a group of 6 cadets that run across the field after every touchdown. And then we do push-ups for as many points as we have. Remember last year we had to do a lot of push-ups.
That's exactly what we want to see. Is that right?
Good boy, Isaiah.
And then we have our parking detail, which makes sure that all the parents and all the students are in the game on time, and we just organize all the hectic chaos of the parking lots.
Lots of chaos in the parking lot. If you've been to Rattler Stadium, you know that for sure. All right, well, sliding it down here. So, band, we hear the band. We know a lot about the band, but tell us something we may not realize is going on. Talk to us about the preparation that the band does all week to get ready for a Friday night football game.
Right. So for the last 4 weeks of summer, we've been out on the band pad, which is a concrete pad in the parking lot, from 8 to 8, really, for 4 weeks.
And at least it hasn't been all that hot these last 4 weeks, right?
Right.
I mean, no big
And
deal.
I'll add to this, and Sophia might hit me in the back of the head, but there's nobody that puts more hours in than a band. I don't care. In 28 years of when I get up in the morning, they're here. When I leave, it's dark, they're there.
Duck, Coach, you got diamond. So tell us a little bit. So what else? What do you love the most about the Friday night experience from the band section?
Yeah, my favorite part definitely has to be just being up in the stands. We get to play with all our friends and watch the football team do their thing. And, yeah, it's just a lot of fun up there.
All right, well, slide it on down. And so, again, Isaiah, you've been on the show before. We've talked football before, but I think we're usually talking X's and O's with you, right? Getting a little more personal. Talk to us about the feeling, how much you love the feeling of Friday Night Lights, especially out there at Rattler Stadium when you got the home fans behind you.
It definitely makes it a lot more fun. I mean, away games are fun just because the away fans or the home fans when you're away, just the banter you get from them makes it fun. But the home fans and the support and everything they give you, it's just another kick that you don't really get when you're away.
All right, and so that's another thing for fans. Check that schedule and do the traveling. We got to do the traveling. We got to show up in large part to these away games and support the boys. Isaiah, tell me what you've been in it for 4 years now. You've had a lot of great highlights. What would be a favorite moment for you so far on a Friday night in your football career?
Well, when we played Del Valley last year, we played not great in the first half, and they had these LED lights every time they scored that would flicker on and off. And then we ended up coming back in the second half and winning by a couple of touchdowns. And then in the box on their side, there was in our coaching room, the lights were flickering on and off, and it was funny.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we'll come back to you guys here on this side in a minute, but slide it on down. So you're representing cheer, correct?
Yes.
And so again, that's somebody we see, out in front. One thing I want to ask you about the unique setup for Rattler Stadium. You go to away games in most other stadiums, and you've got that track that separates the football field from the stadium.
Right.
But you guys, with that being eliminated at San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium, what is that like for you to just be right there with the crowd?
It's really hard. We don't really like it. We love cheering in front of the parents. The parents really give that crowd involvement, but not being in front of the student section, we want everyone to be able to get into the spirit. We want to be able to run down, get band and Diamond Line involved with us, but we really can't. But we make it work.
Yeah,
we're still there.
It's because, again, if you're here on a Friday night, these guys are leading. The very definition of leading cheers.
Yeah.
You guys get us going and going. What about that student section being down front? What about that feature, having the students down front? Do you feel like that's had a cool impact?
I think it has. We love it, especially when they throw the baby powder. We absolutely love it. Not whenever the wind's coming towards us. We get it in our hair, our makeup, but we love it. We love having them there. They're always playing music. They hype us up. We hype them up. It's
absolutely. The student section is one in a million, Coach. We've talked about it before, but remind folks is what your experience has been these first couple of years when you saw that student section.
Yeah, we feed off it. I to go to a game and just to have a bunch of parents, cheer for their own kids is not. I got to hear the craziness, and she said they're playing music. They're not. It's not. If UIL's listening, not real stereos. They're just playing music.
Right.
But now they do a great job, and what I've liked about here is it's pretty organized chaos. There's not. It's never dead. It's not out of control. It's organized chaos, and it's fun. It's fun to listen to. I actually pay attention to them too much, probably.
All right, well, go ahead and slide it on down there. So representing the choir here, again, a program that perhaps in the typical picture of a Friday Night Lights, we're not picturing choir, but choir gets us going in the very beginning, right? So talk to us about what choir participates in a Friday Night Lights program.
Of course. Choir's main responsibility for Friday Night Lights is providing a singer to do the national anthem. So within our class period, our students will undergo a pretty rigorous audition process. The national anthem is a pretty difficult song to sing. You start really low and you end really high. So our students oftentimes...
Could you sing it for us now? No,
I
we
could.
can't. Okay, go ahead.
Let's go.
But our students will sing it multiple times to try out different keys, and every single time it's in front of the class, so they're feeling the pressure of their peers to making sure they don't mess up on lyrics or rhythms and whatnot. So it's a pretty intense process, and you definitely see a lot of growth of students who maybe can't do it their sophomore year but are able to do it by their junior year. And it's definitely a lot of fun to be able to contribute something to the Friday Night Lights and the whole Rattler spirit.
Excellent, excellent. So as we slide on down, again, one of the more visual ones, right? We always see the Diamond Line out there, not just at halftime, but Diamond Line just throughout the night, making noise, being visual, getting crowds going. So talk to us about what you love most about the Friday Night Light experience in the Diamond Line.
Like any Friday Night Lights?
Just the typical Friday night. What do you love the most about doing it?
I love when the band will play the drum cadences, and then we have little dances and things to go with it, and we get really hyped with the band, and then we'll do stuff with them too, and then also of course doing the halftime show is also really fun.
Awesome. And so what kind of work have you got? Again, same thing, lots of hours being put in. What kind of work do you guys do in a typical week going into a Friday game?
So before school starts, just like band, we have 4 weeks before school starts. We're here at the school pretty much all day. We have people come in to choreograph our field dances. We practice the stand routines that we do in the stands. We practice what we do pregame, which is the 2 lines, and we send the little dance moves down where we welcome the Rattlers down. And then when school starts, we practice 2 hours or more every single day, running the field routines with the band, going on the band pad with our hats and boots, to prepare for Friday.
Awesome. We'll come back to that in just a minute. As we get down to the end of the line here, we've got Hunter representing our audiovisual program in the CTE world. So, Hunter, again, we don't see you guys, but you're contributing massively. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to make Friday nights fun for everybody?
So some of our responsibilities includes things like helping out with the Jumbotron, running some of the cameras that you see that supply the Jumbotron with the footage. Occasionally we'll help with creation of some of the visual effects that we use for just the various different video applications you see, sound stuff. It's just kind of all the stuff that makes it look and sound great.
Absolutely. It is a lot of fun. The Jumbotron, a huge piece of the experience at Rattler Stadium, right?
Absolutely.
And it does look interesting when we go to other fields that don't have it. It makes you appreciate it that much more. What were your thoughts when you got to this field for the first time, Coach, and you're thinking about coming here?
It was very impressive, very impressive. I've been to a lot of stadiums, and this one's built right for high school football.
Absolutely. And tying the students into the production, I think, is a really great key to that. So we'll walk the mic right back down the line. So, Hunter, you'll start, and we'll work our way back down. I want to make sure, so we're talking and celebrating Friday Night Lights here, but obviously that's just a small piece of all of your programs that you work on all year. So for all of you, same question, just tell us about what are some cool things that we can expect from your programs in the 22-23 school year.
So some things that you can expect coming out of our audio-video team this year is some more KXN news-style broadcast type things, as well as other things that we might do. So we might shoot a video about the football team, or we might go just shoot a video about just all the different programs here at the school, just some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you don't really get to experience just going to the football game.
You guys end up being a really key piece of telling the story of San Marcos High School, right?
That is true.
All right, well, Diamond Line, what are we looking forward to beyond football season from the Diamond Line?
So after football season, we don't really get an off season. We go straight into competition season, and then we have about 4 competitions that are working towards our national competition in March and April.
Okay, so lots more work, right?
Yes, lots more.
All right, so choir, obviously getting us warmed up on Friday nights, but the same thing, the work never stops in the choir program,
doesn't.
right? Tell us about that.
We're usually always preparing for a competition or a concert. Our first upcoming competition is region auditions for the TMEA All-State track, which happen in early October. But we have a fundraiser coming up on September 17th. It's our royalty fundraiser, which is a fundraiser that's a tea party, fairy tale, princess, superhero performance geared towards our younger audiences to get them involved and knowledgeable about the choir program, and it's a lot of fun and definitely worth checking out if you have a younger child.
Absolutely. And so where can people go to find out about royalty?
The link to buy tickets is in our Instagram bio. It's choir_SMHS.
Okay.
And it's an Eventbrite link. But yeah.
Okay.
I just worked in a complete plug right there.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We'll actually even try to get something in the comments on the VYPE channel. We'll try to get those in the comments for you guys as to cheer. Now, when the football season's over, y'all just pretty much take it easy the rest of the year, right? And just hang out?
Well, we have competition.
Oh, you do have
Right
competition.
after-
Tell us about all the work that you guys had. It's the same thing. It's just one thing after
Yeah.
another with you guys, right?
Yeah, so our first competition comes up in November, and that's our UIL. Then we go to Dallas, and then hopefully this year we go to Florida, which is our nationals. And I know my freshman year, we made it all the way to nationals until the second round. So
Awesome. That's incredible.
Of course, our goal is make it past that.
Right. Always growing, always growing.
Right. Yeah, and we have a bigger team. We have the biggest team we've had in my 4 years
Oh,
of
wow.
cheer. Yes, and we have a lot of cool new stunts that we can do because we have more girls, a lot more flips, good new routines, so everyone should be
Can't
excited.
Wait. Can't wait.
FNL.
Again, we missed it tonight for Meet the Rattlers, so that just means you got to be here Friday. No excuse. If you're not here Friday, I don't know what to tell you. So, all right, well, Isaiah, now obviously as a football program, everybody goes and does their thing, so let's talk to you about where do you head personally? What does Isaiah De Leon do after football season's over?
More football. I mean, it's basically every week throughout the year, maybe 1-2 weeks off throughout the whole year, but pretty much working on football from when football season starts until when it starts again the next year, and yeah, it's the whole year round.
And the idea there is you have been blessed with these schools calling and recruiting, right? So you're in the middle of that recruitment process, which we've talked with you about last season. We'll definitely talk with you a little bit about that coming up, but that's a big reason why the football continues, right? You're on those scouts' radars, and you're trying to advance beyond high school into collegiate football. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, sliding in behind me there. So again, competition's the name of the game for band as well. So football season gets over. We've had a blast. where does band head after that final game?
Right. So we finish up our marching competitions. We have a lot of those this year. We've been working really hard on that. And then after that, we go right into UIL, concert season. So we start work on our concerts, and we also have TMEA All-State auditions. And we also do solo ensemble, and just a whole lot of work throughout the year. We don't really have a break.
I think that's the common theme with the kids that you're looking at up here. If you're watching today, just the work never ceases with these kids.
Never.
So incredible. So then we get back down to the end of the line. ROTC. Now it's always fascinating to me because ROTC is a unit, and yet there are so many available things for individual cadets in the unit to be a part of. So share with us some of those incredible opportunities that cadets have in the ROTC.
So we have so many teams you can join. We start Cyber Patriots in the middle of football season, and we also start prepping for our drill competitions also in the middle of football season. And we'll be here at like 6 a.m. to practice just marching, and we also have like select moves we have to do and select like formulas, I guess, for the drill competition. And then after that, we have like our Mayor's Cup, which is based off of Cyber Patriots. We also have a lot more teams that I'm just blanking
It
on.
really
but
is more than anybody could just remember
Yes.
like that. Now, she would have done her plug, but they had the Rattler 5K this
Yes.
past week. Well, how did that go? Talk to us about the 5K run from
it
Saturday.
went really well. We actually have an upcoming 5K
Okay,
at
great. Well, plug it.
Guadalupe.
Choir plug. You get to plug.
We have a 5K coming up at Guadalupe Brewing Company in New
Okay.
Braunfels that we're still promoting. I think it's in mid-October. But this past 5K, our theme was peace and love, 70s. It was really fun. We also had a lot of runners come out from just running clubs, like recruiting clubs, just people wanting to run, people's grandmas. It was really fun. It took a lot of planning. We started planning this way back in July. So it was really fun to see just the outcome of it all and just get to let loose and just see what came of all our planning, I guess.
Well, that's exciting. Well, before I let everybody go, you got a live mic on live television, so I want to give you a chance to get some shout-outs. So just pass the mic along and tell the people thank you and hey that you want to shout out to. And we'll start with you and work our way back down.
Thank you, everyone that supports the whole ROTC program, I guess, and everyone that sponsored us in the 5K and is still willing to sponsor. So.
All right.
I guess I'll shout out our band. We made it to area last year, so let's make it to state this year.
Awesome. Heck yeah.
Shout out the rest of the football team and coaches, and make sure y'all get here Friday night.
I want to give a shout out to the cheer team. We're going to have a great season this year.
I'll shout out Ms. Sheridan and Ms. Smith, our choir directors, for believing in my speaking abilities for this event. Yeah.
I want to shout out to Miss Knight, our director. She's actually sitting over there. Yep. She does a lot of work that a lot of people don't see, so I appreciate you.
I'd like to say thanks to Mr. Moore for just kind of running the AV program for all these years. And I would also like to thank Mr. Odom and Coach Walsh for having us on our show.
Oh, we were excited to have you. Thank you, Hunter. So we just appreciate you guys being on. It is exciting to have you again. As you know, this is the heart and soul, not of Friday Night Lights, but of San Marcos High School. As we heard at Convocation, Coach, don't doubt us.
No,
that's what we're saying. That's the story we're telling. Do not doubt us at San Marcos High School, and these kids behind us here are the exact reason why. So thank you guys so much for being with us. We appreciate you being a part of Rattler Up. All right, well, as we transition from that, we're going to take a look ahead to this Friday night as we take on the Hutto Hippos. So, Coach, it's hard to follow that, but we're going to try. We're going to get back to the football, and we're going to get back to just you and I. But, again, cannot thank those kids enough for being here and being a part of the show. What does that mean to you to have that group
When
here?
you're on the ground floor, people get to come to Friday night to see them, but when I get to see I walk around the school all over the place, and I get to see their work they put in, and it's real work, and not just the kids, but the leaders and the sponsors they have and coaches. But, man, they're great kids, and they're very deserving to get all the recognition they need.
Absolutely. Well, let's take the look then. We've got the Hutto Hippos this Friday night, and if you weren't already planning on being here, I hope these kids convince you this is the reason you come Friday night. A home opener. Now, before we talk that, we talked last season about this too, and I thought I could hear it in your voice how exciting that is. Talk to me about just the idea of a home opener and how exciting that is.
Yeah, just the start of the football season is exciting, but like Isaiah and they all talked about, just the energy their programs bring, and we're making it Little Rattler Night, and the last time we did Little Rattler Night, this place was packed. So you want, this is not just a school event, it's a city event, and to open up with the excitement of the opener at our place you just can't beat it.
And it is. It's a community event. We hope the community will come on out. Well, let's take a look at our opponents. So the Hutto Hippos, last year Hutto posted a 4-3 record in district play, good for a playoff berth. And what a first-round matchup. They take on eventual state champion Westlake in the first round. But Hutto had to do that. They return 8 offensive starters. They return 4 on defense. So they've seen tough competition.
Oh, yeah.
They have not backed down from that competition. So in general, before we break it down a little bit more, what are you expecting from Hutto Friday night?
Well, you talked about our non-district schedule, and it's competitive, starting with them. And they scrimmaged on Thursday, so we were able to take a trip over there and watch them scrimmage. And they're good. I mean, they're very competitive. They got a good quarterback that can make plays, kind of like Isaiah with his legs and his arm, and he's got some weapons around him. And I thought defensively they played pretty hard.
Now, we talked earlier about in a pre-district game, obviously we want to put W's on the board, but we also know that there's other wins that aren't just necessarily related around the scoreboard. What are some specific victories you're looking to score this Friday night against Hutto?
Yeah, I'll start out. We plan to win the ball game, and I think we match up, and I think we're the favorite. And but regardless, for me, especially now that I'm 50 at this, for me, I'm just looking. You really want to get exposed. I mean, and that sounds bad, but I want to play the game. I want to win the game. But Isaiah can tell you in film, I want to find out where do we need the most help. You're not going to find it in scout team practice. No one's going to expose you. So I need to find out where we hurt and win the game and then fix those, and that's how you get better each week. I don't want to just win and come out there and start eating breakfast burritos the next morning and drinking orange juice and be happy. We want to find out how can we get better.
Right, and we talked a lot about that last season. Some of the biggest reasons why you were so competitive in the end of the season and heading into the playoffs was because of
no doubt
pitfalls and stumbles that happened earlier in the year, right?
No doubt, and I think coaches make the mistake of really evaluating yourself after a loss. I think you really got to do it when you win ball games too.
Okay, so talk to us along those same lines about playing time. So we don't want that injury bug to bite. We got a lot more opportunity for the injury bug to bite in the preseason as opposed to the district schedule. So how do you then as a coach manage that when you say, I've got to see these players, I've got to get them challenged, and I got to keep them healthy?
Yeah, so it's a challenge. To go win a ball game, it is a challenge in football. And luckily, spots on the offense, running back's a spot that people get beat up because, because they're the ones getting hit. Luckily, we got a bunch of them. We got Schultz, we got JB, we got Sandoval, and Isaiah takes a load of that running. So we can share that load, and then on defense, it's hard. You got to play your boys, and I think it's our job as an offense to keep the defense off the field. So if we're not getting 3 and outs, then they're staying healthy by not being on the field.
Right. Now, you may not want to speak specifically about which ones, but are there situations in general where some of these games are kids fighting to earn that spot come that first week in October when the district matchup set in?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the first week, but they got 2 to 3 weeks to make it happen if they want to make a push. We got a pretty good idea who our 22 are, but there's another 10 there that we know can help us, and that just need to be that they need to get in that 10. And there's probably going to be some outside of that 10 that by the end of the year made that 10 that have big roles.
Well, and I think we talked a little bit last year too, and when the injury bug does hit, it's going to hit, right? You want it to be
last year hit week 1, 3
right. Making sure that you've got someone that can step up and fill that role. So a lot of these games are going to be just as important for that kid that, hey, you may be called upon in the third quarter to just take over, right?
100%. We were week 2. We were in San Antonio Homes, and I didn't have running back, safety, quarterback. I think there were 7 of them down.
Right.
And we were putting tight ends or running back.
Well, that's going to be exciting. The home opener Friday night as the Rattlers take on the Hutto Hippos here in San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium. Well, that's going to do it for Rattler Up. Unfortunately, we didn't get to be on the Jumbotron, didn't get to have Meet the Rattler, but boy, we were blessed to have the kids here join us and still get to part of Rattler Up going for season 2. So don't forget, this week, be back at the stadium, 7:30 kickoff Friday night. Hutto Hippos in town for the home opener, and then of course we want to continue that momentum all throughout the year. We want to travel. I'd like to see this be the best travel season ever. So come out Friday night. That'll be your start. And so, Coach, it's exciting to have Rattler Up again. Talk again about why are we doing this every week? What are we doing here on Rattler Up? What's the point?
I think the number one point is to do what we did tonight, celebrate the kids, celebrate our school, and make it about everybody. And I think that's what we've done. We did last year, and I think we'll grow it this year.
All right, well, that's going to be Monday nights at 6 o'clock on the VYPE YouTube channel. You can watch us live, and, of course, you can watch it anytime. So grandparents that find out about it later, welcome in and get those links out so they can watch their kids, and we hope you'll join us every Monday night at 6 o'clock. Well, thank you to VYPE, our producer, Josh, for putting this together and giving us a great platform to showcase Rattler Nation. And thanks to everybody watching at home, and we will see you again next week. So for Coach Walsh, I'm CJ Odom, and thanks for watching Rattler Up.